Hey, this is Kevin David Rail, Chief Fitness Advisor for Wild Warrior Nutrition. And today I'm going to be talking about the benefits of high rep workouts. Okay, these are looked down upon by a lot of people out there who are big and bulky and strong and all these other things, but I'm telling you right now, you don't know what you're missing out on. And if you ever want to give your joints a little bit of a break, let's start doing some high rep workouts. So let's start with that benefit right there. Your joints get a little bit of a break. Okay, when you're doing really heavy when you're doing really heavy barbell squats or deadlifts or any kind of work like that, you're putting a lot of strain and a lot of stress on your connective tissue and your joints. Over time, you're going to grind your joints to a pulp, and you don't want to do that. If you do high rep workouts, you're going to need lighter weights to do a higher amount of reps. So guess what? You preserve your joints and you don't put as much impact or stress on them over a long period of time. Even if you just trigger some high rep workouts into your beefcake workouts every now and then, it's going to give them a little bit of a needed break, and I highly suggest you give that a spin. Okay, another thing, muscle endurance. So, endurance by itself is the perpetual motion of the body and doing a lot of work for a little bit of work for a long period of time. For example, running is an endurance activity. Biking is an endurance activity. You don't have a lot of strain or a lot of load on your body, and you're able to go for a long period of time. And people do like 100-mile bike races all the time. They do 100-mile ultra-marathon runs and things like that because it's endurance. It takes endurance to do that. Now, if you grab light weights and you do exercises like bicep curls, for example, you can do a high amount of reps for a long period of time, and that's going to translate to what's called muscle endurance, which is basically endurance for your muscles specifically. That is going to be beneficial for sports as well, such as basketball or football or anything where there's a repetitive motion. Tennis, for example, where you're constantly going like this with your arm over and over again. So if you work your arms and your shoulders with high reps with light weights, it's going to benefit you in your sport. So it helps improve muscle endurance, and that is done by doing a high amount of reps in your sets, in your workouts. Okay, muscle gain and muscle building, that is another benefit. Yes, you can actually build muscle. There was a study done, I think there was a blog post we have on the Wild Warrior Nutrition site right now that talks about how a study was done with people who did the same amount of exercises, but they just changed the rep counts, and they did the same amount of reps, same amount of sets as well. Both groups experienced almost identical gains in muscle size. The only difference was they didn't gain a lot of strength when it came to the muscle endurance. But you have to think in terms of sports specificity, it's called. So if you do play tennis or you are some kind of athlete that has a particular focus on a high amount of reps with your particular muscle groups, then you might want to start integrating some higher rep workouts into your program. So it does help build strength. It's form that matters most. So if you're doing the biceps curls that I was talking to you about, if you're doing 60-pound dumbbells, you're going to be doing a lot of hunching and a lot of herking like this. And you may do 6 to 8 reps, but they're going to be sloppy and they're going to put a lot of strain on your back. If you do 100 reps, or if you do even like 30 reps of clean reps like this, perfect ones, with say 10-pounders, what do you think is going to translate to more muscle being built? It's going to be the better form with the higher amount of reps with the lighter weight. So you can actually build muscle size with higher reps as well. Don't forget that. Okay, fat loss is another thing. If you're doing a set of, say, 6 to 8 reps of a heavy weight, the amount of time that you're working there is probably going to be about 30 seconds or so, okay? If you do 50 reps of an exercise with a light weight, how long is that going to take you? Probably 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. And if you fill a workout with like 6 different exercises like that, you've just accumulated a lot of time that you're going at a light pace for a long period of time. So you're actually going to translate that into a higher amount of calories being burned over the long haul. So don't forget the fact that you can burn some fat while doing high rep workouts. Blood sugar balance, here's another thing. Anytime you're doing anaerobic type exercise or you're doing something that's like a short duration where you're lifting load, your muscles feast on glycogen. Glycogen is stored in your muscles and stored in your liver, and it's used all the time in workouts when you're doing higher intensity or if you're doing weight training exercises. So when you're doing a consistent amount of light weights, the biceps curls, again, we'll just keep defaulting back to that example, you're going to be able to burn a lot of glucose, so you're going to help keep your blood sugar levels in balance, and it's going to help with prevention of disease going down the road. And anytime you do anything to balance your blood sugar levels on a daily basis, it's going to help prevent diabetes specifically. And we always want to try to think about prevention of all-cause mortality and any kind of diseases we can. So you're going to get that benefit as well from high-rep workouts. Now, yes, of course, you get that from doing heavy weight training as well, but it's probably going to be a higher translatable effect when you're doing the high-rep workouts. Lastly, it'll have effect on your cardiovascular system too. So I just mentioned endurance earlier. What that basically does is it helps your strength in your heart, and that's your cardiovascular system right there. So doing those longer sets that are going to be 2 to 3 minutes long, you're going to be huffing and puffing after you do a set of 100 reps of a light weight, no matter what body part it is. If you did like squats and you did 25 or 30 of those, I guarantee your ticker is going to be cranking and you're going to be huffing and puffing, and you're probably going to break a sweat as well, especially if you do like 4 sets of those. So your cardiovascular system is going to be taxed as well, and it is going to get the benefit too. There you have it. That is the long and short of the end of it, of the benefits of high rep workouts. You might want to throw those in every now and then. You might want to spend a month even doing nothing but high rep workouts and see how you make out with it. You might find out that you get more toned, you burn more fat, you feel better, your cardiovascular system feels better, and your joints don't hurt as much, and you have less inflammation in your body. I suggest you give them a spin. Do it like once a month, one time for a month, every few months, or just try a couple workouts and see how you make out with it. Okay? If you have any more questions or comments, this is Kevin David Rail. I'm the Chief Fitness Advisor for Wild Warrior Nutrition. Till next time.